Hello and welcome to today's session. Today we are going to look into the CTF. Today we will be covering what CTF is, why CTF is required for a beginner or for a cybersecurity person, how we can get into CTF, and how we can uplift ourselves in CTFs. So before jumping into the topic, a bit of self introduction. Hello, my name is Aditya Rai, and in CTFs I usually use D3V1 LAL Devilal as my pseudonym. I am an infosec or cybersecurity student, and I have been playing CTF for past 2 years and have achieved and won many of the CTF competitions. Apart from that, I am a core member at DEFCON Delhi group DC 9111. So coming to the topic, what is CTF? So it is a fun way of learning and getting into cybersecurity, or a gamified way of learning building blocks of cybersecurity. We might have seen there are many types of hackathon for web developers or software developers or Android developers. So, but what about cybersecurity? So, in cybersecurity, similar concept is used in CTFs, where there are n number of different categories which consist of challenges of cybersecurity. Uh, the categories may vary from cryptography to forensic and others. Each player can play as an individual or as a team depending upon the type of CTF. Like if the person or if the organizers want it to be a individual CTF, so you will be playing as a individual. So you have to solve a challenge. Challenge is categorized into difficulty levels, and points are awarded to that. Let's say we are having a challenge. It's of easy category and in cryptography. So yeah, there will be a question which you have to solve because it's a cryptography challenge. So you will be having some kind of ciphers or encrypted text. You have to decode that and you have to submit the flag. What is flag? So the answer which you are getting after solving each challenge is a flag. Okay, and that flag is kind of a proof, like you have solved the challenge as intended, or you have successfully completed the challenge and you received that key. On entering or submitting that key to the website or to the CTF server, you will be awarded points accordingly. If it is easy challenge, then you will be getting points accordingly. If it is intermediate or hard, then you will be getting points respectively. Now there are two types of CTF. First one is Jeopardy. What Jeopardy is? Here you can see there are some categories: exploitation, forensics, networking, reversing. So, and there are some different tiles over there named as tumbler, chips, and so on and so forth, along with a number specified below the name. That number is actually the points which are assigned for that challenge, and those numbers usually uh, defines the difficulty level. Lower the number, easier the challenge; higher the number, difficult is the challenge. So, on solving the challenge, if you have successfully solved the challenge, it will be prompted as green. You can see in this picture, the green ones or the green tiles are actually the solved challenge, whereas the black ones are unsolved. Okay, now the next type of CTF, or the last type of CTF, is attack and defense. This is totally different from the Jeopardy style. Why? Because here you can compete either in team or as an individual, same as Jeopardy. But the key difference is you have to attack others while you have to defend yourself from others' attack. Let's say, to be more simple, four friends are having a PC with them. Okay, now each friend have to attack other and find the flag or the key which is hidden inside the system. Meanwhile, you have to protect your system from the attacks which your friends will be doing on you. In the image presented over here, you can see team 1 have to defend their own server, or you can say their own PC, while they have to attack on team 2, 3 and 4 uh, 4 servers and PCs respectively. They have to attack on that. So what's the difference between Jeopardy and attack and defense? So majority of the time you will be seeing Jeopardy CTFs only. Why? Because they are easily to organize, and it focuses on a particular concept. Okay, let's say there is one challenge, so it will be focusing on one specific concept. If you are knowing that concept or kind of an attack or any exploit, then you will be easily able to solve that. Whereas attack and defense consist of different concepts combined all together. You have to use all the knowledge. You have to attack as well as defend yourself. While defending, you have to patch your own system or server, while for attacking you may have to create some scripts so that you can attack multiple servers or PCs at a time, and you can fetch the flag and gain points. And at the end, the team or an individual with more majority or more number of points will be the winner. So what are the categories? We will be focusing on Jeopardy only, because majority we are seeing that type of CTF only. So there are n number of categories, but the general categories which can be seen is web exploitation, which is based on website or web applications. Second one is cryptography, which is based on decoding some stuff. Then comes forensics, in which you have to apply your forensic skill and find out what's hidden inside any kind of file or any corrupted thing whatsoever. Then comes binary exploitation. Uh, in binary exploitation, there is a service running in a PC which is asking for some kind of input. Now you have to craft or create such an input which, on giving to the server or system, gives you a shell as in a connection through which you can access that system. More simple way, uh, let's say a service is running in my system or in my PC, and a friend of mine gave an input. Let's say the service is asking what is your name, so I can the friend of mine can type his own name and the system will accept. But what if he gives something else other than his name, some exploit or shell code? These words might be hard for you, but don't bother about that. So if my friend gave a different input apart from his name, we usually call that as shellcode or payload. So after giving that input is being saved, or it can be executed in my system, which may result to a connection or access for my friend, via which my friend can access my system. Initially it was just for service, but now because of that service, he has the access or control over my whole system. He can do whatever he wants. That comes under binary exploitation. Now comes reversing. The next topic is reversing. In this, let's say I have been creating a software, for example, and if I say step 1 2 3 4, step 1 is where I am writing my code, and step 4 is where my code is being compiled and an APK or executable file is formed. If we are talking about Windows, then an exe might have been formed. If we are talking about Android, then an APK might have been formed. If we are talking about Linux, then an executable might have been formed. So in reversing, or usually we are running step 1 2 3 4, we are proceeding like this. But in reversing or reverse engineering, we have to run reverse direction, 4 3 2 1. You have to break the whole code or software, and you have to reach at the end. Not exactly you have to write the code, but you have to understand what exactly is going inside in this software. Usually you are not provided with the source code of the software, you are only provided the software alone, all alone. You have to analyze it, what's going inside the software. You have to analyze the assembly language, and then you have to bypass some kind of restrictions which is present over there, and at the end it will give you the flag. Now comes Android. Okay, in Android it is some kind of reversing itself, because you may have to uh, decode or reverse engineer and whole APK, and at the end you have to get the flag. Now comes OSINT. OSINT means open source intelligence. I'm sorry. OSINT means open source intelligence, where you have to find flags or some information which is publicly available. Let's say uh, I posted a comment somewhere on my photo or someone else's photo, which can be a key element for something. No one knows what it can be. So that is publicly available on my profile. If the person is connected to me, or if my profile is publicly viewed, so that particular element is present over there. It can be seen. So the task in OSINT is you have to find out the key element, be it a photograph, be it a comment, or be it a some kind of uh, web pages which was back in times. So this comes under OSINT category. Next comes miscellaneous, which covers remaining small categories, but basically these seven categories are usually seen in CTF: web exploitation, cryptography, forensics, binary exploitation, reversing, Android, and OSINT. Out of all these seven, uh, usually people find binary exploitation and reversing a bit hard. Okay, because they require in-depth knowledge of system. It requires you to understand how memory works. If we are talking about binary exploitation, how memory is working. If I am executing a program, then how that program is executed deep down at memory level. Same thing is with reversing. You have to understand the assembly language. Okay, so this was about general categories. Now in CTF, let's say this is my challenge admin section. I have On clicking that challenge, you will be given such prompt with the name of the challenge. Below that 100 shows the points or score which is assigned for the challenge, and after score you might be given some kind of hints. Okay, generally challenge name and the description acts as an hint for the uh, challenge itself. On reading that, you can get a slight idea of what you have to do in the challenge itself. Then if it's a web exploitation challenge, then you might be given some kind of links. Otherwise you will be given some kind of downloadable file on which you have to work upon. Also, uh, there can be hints provided to you depending upon the organizer. If they wants to, they can provide you. Now either they can provide you free hint, or you have to give some of your points to get the hints of that specific challenge on which you are stuck. And after, let's say you got the successfully solved the challenge, you got the flag, then submit on that input box and hit submit. If it is correct, you will be prompted solved successfully, else incorrect flag. This was about uh, a general overview of CTF, Jeopardy CTF. Now you may ask how to start. Okay, I'm totally beginner. How should I start into CTF? Okay, so first and foremost, the the first tip which I always give whenever someone asks me or beginner asks me is to start learning and practicing Linux, preferably Ubuntu or Kali Linux. It is totally upon you which type of Linux you want to use, but please try to learn and practice Linux as soon as possible, because majority of the task or personally, I only use Linux for solving CTF challenges. No doubt you can use Windows also, but configuring Windows for solving CTF is kind of tedious task, because usually the softwares or the applications or some kind of codes, they usually work on Linux itself, and these codes are only made for Linux. You can find some alternative which may work on Windows, but yeah, I prefer Linux. So start learning and practicing Linux. Then next tip I give, start doing Pico CTF. You may ask, you can question me, like I am totally zero. I have no knowledge. I don't know nothing about cybersecurity or CTF. So how can I do that? So Pico CTF is totally for beginners. Like it has uh, challenges specifically for beginners, intermediate, and advanced levels, and it has a vast variety of beginner challenges which you can go through and learn from them. It will make you more comfortable with the types of challenge which can be asked, although there is no limitations on what sort or what type of challenge can be asked, or which type of challenge can be seen in a competition. It's totally upon the uh, challenge creator's mindset, what is inside his mind. Okay, he can combine some concept to a different level and it can be presented to you as a challenge. So but if you are knowing some basic concepts or the building blocks which are usually in such kind of CTFs like Pico CTF, then you're good to go. Now next point or next thing which usually I say to beginners is, in the starting, focus on knowledge rather than on points or rank, because initially I have faced this problem and I have seen others facing this problem. Like they took it kind of competition itself. Actually it is a competition, but for you as a beginner, you you are going to compete against some highly trained or advanced players who have been into this field or have been playing CTFs from past many years, who knows. So there is no comparison between you two. Therefore I would recommend you, rather than going on to points or collecting points or competing for rank, like I need to push up my rank anyhow. Okay, I would like to uh, tell you, please focus on knowledge. And how you can gather that knowledge? Watch write-ups and videos related to previous CTFs. There are n number of YouTube channels I will be telling you at the end, which you can refer for getting ideas or some kind of information related to different type of techniques which are used in CTFs. Okay, now let's say you played Pico CTF, you stuck at a point. So but since this Pico CTF has been organized already and has been ended, so solutions have been posted by different CTF players online. So as of now, you can go through the CTF, you can solve the challenge. If you're not able to solve, try to research about that challenge. Whatever you can find, please try to. Don't give up so easily. And at a point, after no sweating all and trying very hard, you reached a point where you are saying, okay, I cannot go further. I did everything, I tried my best. So at that point, you can go for write-ups and look for that specific point at which you were stuck. Okay, if you find that point, like okay, I was lacking in this concept, then try to know about that concept. Okay, I will be showing this practically also after this slide. Okay, so this was about the CTA which was ended. Now let's say you are playing a CTA which is currently going. So for sure there will be no write-ups available at that point for that CTF. However, you can find similar write-ups, not exactly similar, but some similar concepts which you might think like okay, possibly this can be the concept present in this challenge. So you can look after that concepts right up. Okay, now let's more of a top. Let's try go to practical. So if you go and search online Pico CTF and register yourself, you will be logged in into this. And let's zoom in a bit. Okay, then go to challenge problems. Here you will be getting all kind of challenges which was present over there. Okay, on the left hand side you can see different kind of categories: web exploitation, reverse engineering, general skills, forensic cryptography, binary exploitation. And here are the challenges along with the number of solves, how many people have solved, its category, and present condition, whether you have solved it or not. At the top you can see your score. And yeah, so you can skip the first challenge, you can directly start from the second one. So if you click on this challenge, now just read this: can you convert the number 42, which is base 10, to binary? Okay, so you can, it is kind of an open book examination where you can directly uh, search online, like, okay, uh, convert decimal to binary. Okay, now you can find online some online tools regarding that uh, thing which you are trying to search, or you may find some kind of information through which you can manually do that. Initially I will recommend you to try to learn the concept also, and you can also use online decoders. Okay, so my number was uh, where is it? Okay, number 42 to base 2. So I will type number 42 and hit convert, and here I am having my answer. Okay, so also every CTF, in the flag they have some kind of predefined headers, or if I say some uh, keywords, on seeing which you can identify, okay, this is the flag. Or after solving the challenge, if you're getting your answer in that format, then you can understand, okay, whatever I have found, whatever I found is correct, or that flag or that key is correct. So in this challenge, our flag format is Pico CTF, where PICO is small and CTF is capital, and then curly bracket. So okay, PICO CTF, and yeah, whatever I have found, like the answer or the binary of 42, I have pasted that inside the curly bracket. So this is the fo- sorry, this is the format, flag format. Whatever you have found will be coming inside this, and then just submit. And you see the prompt is there, flag is correct, however you have already solved this problem. Now you can okay, this garden contains more than it seems. You can also find the file in blah 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 blah. Okay, here you can see the hint, that is what is hex editor. Okay, and you have a downloadable file. And okay, save this file. And if I go to my terminal, like, it is similar. If you are totally new, this is Linux. If you are new to Linux, so you can assume terminal as command prompt. You are using command prompt in Windows, so same thing is terminal, where I can write command and I can access my system. So let's move to downloads folder, because my file is there itself. Okay, garden.jpg. So let's uh, okay, so there was some, no, like, since I already know such techniques, so I directly showed you on using strings. I got the flag. What string is? String command tells you all the words or character present inside any file, be it image, be it audio, or be it video. any kind of file, it always tells you the characters or words present inside that. So you can see at the end, indeed it is a image. Like if I type eog stands for eye of gnome. A command line, a command to open our image viewer. Then you can see it is indeed an image. So if I am going to present this image to anyone, no one will be able to identify there is some kind of uh, text or some key or flag hidden inside this image. Okay, and that can be seen using strings garden.text, garden.jpg, and here I have my flag. And as I mentioned, let me zoom in a bit. Every flag stand every CTF has its own flag format. Now you can see I have found this flag format along with my flag. That means whatever I have found is correct. Now let me paste it over there and submit. Okay, so let's say you are proceeding one by one, and at some point or at any challenge you get stuck. So how to proceed ahead? Let's say the numbers. Okay, flag format is in PicoCTF. You can see the hint. And now again we have a downloadable file, and it's saying the numbers, what do they mean. Okay, let's save that. And cat, not cat, eog the numbers. So now you can see some numbers are being given to us, but the thing which is different is the curly braces present over here. Now pause the video, take a minute and try to identify if you can decode this. Okay, just two hints will be there. One will be like the hints which I am giving to you. One is remember the flag format, and second hint, remember the curly braces. Okay, if you have given a few thoughts regarding this, so my let me open my text editor. Okay, sorry, let me just zoom in a bit. Okay, so Pico CTF and curly bracket. Now we are having some kind of some numbers and some and two curly brackets. Now if you can resemble or relate these two, then you will be getting the idea what I'm trying to say. These numbers are actually depicting or relating each character. How? A B C D. If I write this way, up till Z. So if I do the indexing, let's say 1 will be coming at, like, A is indexed as 1, B comes at 2, C comes at 3, D comes at 4, till the end where Z comes as 26. Now if you try to decode, or if you check 16, what comes at 16? It will be P. What comes at 9? It will be I. What comes at 3? It will be C. Similarly, you can decode this whole number thing, and at the end you will get your flag. Okay, so this way you have to try and think and build up your thinking or imagining power. Okay, I was telling about research, like how to look up for whenever you are stuck. Okay, so okay, in the starting, don't go through this binary and reversing challenge. Here you can see binary and reversing are there. So let's say this is the file which is given to you, and the challenge name is unzip. Okay, now here is my file, sorry, named flag.zip. Okay, but you don't know how to open a file in terminal or a zip file in terminal, then what you can do, just go on Google and search, uh, like manually, like whatever comes in your mind, like how to open zip file in Linux. You can type whatever you are trying, you are having, whatever idea you are having in your mind, and you can open different links. And where is it? Let me search zip. uh, okay, how to unzip a file with unzip command. Okay, where is it? Okay, just type unzip and the file name. So let's type unzip and flag.zip, and yes, we did it, and we got our flag.png, you can see, and eog flag.png, and we got our flag. Unzipping is easy. You may find these numbers like 1 3 5 etc etc, so no need to change the numbers. Write this flag as it is inside the flag format. Okay, so this way you can proceed. Let's say you do not find any kind of information, or you are not able to even know what concept is there, then you can directly search for the write up. Let's say, uh, okay, let's do this basis challenge. uh, Basis challenge pico ctf 19, and type write up after that, and you will find different write up by different persons. And here you can see, if you are able to, uh, basis, yeah, this is the challenge, and it says, what does this means? I have something to do with basis. Now you are given the solution, like the person is telling the solution. The flag is encoded with base 64. So okay, you know, now you came to know there is something known as base 64, but you do not know what it is. So you can Google base 64, and I usually found Wikipedia as a best source of knowing anything. So here you can see, in computer science, base 64 is a group of binary to text encoding scheme that represent this and blah blah blah. Okay, so likewise this, you can gain more knowledge and understand new techniques as you proceed ahead. Okay, this is just about one CTF. More CTF you are going to play, more experience and knowledge you are gaining. Now coming back to our slides. hmm. Okay. Watch write up and videos related to CTFs. So personally, I have been following some uh, cyber people or CTF players on pen testers on YouTube, and their names are, let me write that down for you. uh, John Hammond, then you can go for Live Overflow, and then you can go for Jack Tutorials, and sec, like these are the people who I am following. Out of these I will be telling, like whom specifically like for which purpose I am visiting a particular channel. Then stock, then hackersploit, then hack 5, then comes there is one more. uh, I will mention that down later on. I'm not able to know recognize. Okay, so you can go through these channels, out of which, like personally, I have been a great fan of John Hammond, especially for CTFs. Like the way he is explaining concepts for CTF, like particular challenge or whatever new he is finding, he is sharing with us. So you should definitely go out there and check out his videos. You may find some interesting techniques, tips and tricks to solve a particular set of challenge if you are finding that uh, while if you're finding that in any of the competition. So pause the video and you can just look after these channels. Okay, now we had a show time. And okay, tips for all, like the previous tips which I was giving, that was specifically for beginners, that how they can kickstart their no CTF experience or knowledge about CTF. So this is the tips which I should give for all personally, and by seeing others, I've what I feel, what I should know a few moments ago or few time ago, that tips I'm conveying to you. So the first and foremost is always raise your bar, because after certain point in your CTF experience or in your CTF career, you will be like having a pretty good idea of every kind of category. Okay, but you will be stuck at that point. Why? Because you you will be able to solve majority of the challenges but not all. Or let's say if today I am taking 3 minutes for a particular challenge, then same kind of challenge I will be like I will be taking 3 minutes later on, or a few months, or in next competitions. So what I'm trying to say is, always try to compete with yourself rather than competing with others. There is one saying, jack of all. So I have personally used that concept in this. How? uh, as I mentioned, there are different categories, so you can learn each category to a certain level or to a specific level. Okay, after then try to pick one category and dive in it. What I meant by dive in it, like cover up every possible knowledge which you can gain from it. Let's say if I'm talking about cryptography, then every kind of cipher, symbol cipher, how it is decoded, what is the algorithm, these bits and bytes of cyber security or CTF. If you are getting that, then it is very 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 good for you. Now let's say you have completed with cryptography, then move on to another one which is like favorite for second favorite of you, or which you feels like you can go deep into this thing also. So what will happen after some time, you will, from jack, you will be becoming king of all. You will not be restricted to only basic level or intermediate level. You will be able to solve hard levels challenges also. Second thing, connect with some great communities of people. So interaction uh, in cybersecurity, not only in CTF, interaction with others or discussion with others helps a lot, a lot. Seriously, I have been experiencing this since I have started communicating with different people who have been into this field, and from their experience or their knowledge, it is helping me a lot. Third thing, when confident enough, aim for first blood. What first blood is, uh, let's say a challenge has been uploaded, okay, in a CTF. The first person who has solved the challenge is known as first blood, like the first person who has solved the challenge. So in the initial phases, when you are just beginning with CTFs, try to solve the challenge. Okay, try to learn the concept. Later on, when you have some experience, when you have played many challenges, solved many challenges, you have played many CTFs, then try to go for first blood. Try to solve challenge not only accurately but also fastly, because difference of seconds while in submission creates difference in ranking also. Fourth tip, try to ease your tasks by some scripting. When you know you are facing or you are seeing some challenges more often than others, then you have to write whole code to decode that, or whole concept, or you have to repeat whole steps again and again. Then you can try some automations in which your time and efforts are being saved. And the last tip which I would give to all of you, play as much as you can. The more you are going to play CTF, more experience you are getting, and more, and you are widening your vision. Like this, a particular challenge can be solved by this way also, by this way also, many ways. Okay, now I would like to add on fourth point a bit more, how you can do this, or like how you can ease your task by some scripting. So uh, sorry. Okay, in this itself, like let's take the example of Pico CTF. uh, in the starting till now, from the starting of my CTF career or experience, I found RSA challenge in cryptography are generally seen, and I have to write code again and again to decode that. So I thought, okay, I know my concepts are clear, like how to decode that, what algorithm or what process is being going on. My That concept is very clear. Now why should I write code again and again and let others go ahead? I can save some time over there, right, in writing code, by doing some automation or some scripting. So what I did, I created a tool named as Dagger, specifically for cryptography challenge. If you go online and search ADITY Aditya Seth, and this is my GitHub repo, and this is my uh, cryptography tool which I created using Python. And how it is useful, let me show you. Okay, so it is being saved in my, okay, here is my Dagger. So you can see there are different decoders, like base decoder, number system, rod decoder, Morse decoder. uh, Talking about RSA, I have added one, two, three, four, like I guess six, yeah, six type of attacks for specifically for RSH. Then DNA decoder, so on and so forth. So now there is no need for me to go online, search for that particular decoder, or write that code again and again and solve the challenge. So let's solve that particular challenge. Decrypt this ciphertext. Let's save this, go back to terminal. And since that is a RSA challenge, I know by seeing the things or the ciphertext given in the challenge, I can understand it is the RSA challenge. Let me, okay, now I know, like N, E and C, they are usually given in RSA challenge only. So I know, okay, this is RSA challenge. And since value of 3, value of E is 3, then it is cube root attack of RSH, which I have already mentioned in my decoder, cube root attack. So now instead of writing the whole code, I will just copy this. Okay, let me select 5 and 2 for cube root attack. Press enter the value of N, then value of E is 3, and C. And now you can see it hardly took me more than 5 seconds to solve the challenge, and at the end I got my flag. So using this way, you are enhancing your no knowledge, as well as you are saving your time also. Whereas uh, on the professional side, you are having a you are creating a good project for yourself, which you can show to companies or in any interview. So it is having multiple advantages for you. Okay, you can go for this for be good in any of the scripting language, be it Python, C, whatever you are familiar or comfortable with. Try to do some automation tasks. Not only in cryptography, you can do some web stuff, forensic stuff. There are endless possibility. So this was about uh, tips. Now you will be asking, okay, uh, I will, I can play CTF, but what is the benefit of playing CTF? So the first benefit is the basic building blocks which are mentioned in the starting, like what is CTF. So the basic building blocks of cybersecurity, like particular concepts, will be cleared to you, which can be used further uh, in your pen testing career. If you're going for pen testing side, then some of these concepts will be used there also. Secondly, uh, I have won many of the prizes. I have attached some of the screenshots over here, like I won many of them, and accordingly, I have some of out of which I some of them I got some courses, like paid courses, or I got some Amazon gift cards and many more things. So benefit is there are a lot number of benefits. They are not restricted to one or three. There are n number of benefits, but the main thing is you should start and you should be consistent with your progress. You should not stop. With that being said, uh, thank you so much for listening this out. Okay, if you are having any type of query, feel free to connect with me on social media, LinkedIn, Instagram, etc., etc. Okay, so thank you. I hope you start practicing, and I hope I see you in winning any of the in any CTF with a good rank and some good prizes. Thank you.